the idea for this webinar is to, as I told you, is to share with you some best practices as ConsenSys have been creating and developing during 5 years several projects, more than 100 to be precise. And the idea here is to share with you the best practices around that. So to start, we're going to talk about product design. And one of the most important thing or message I can share with you is that it's important to start with a user and not the token. So this is the reason why Benjamin from our team will present you how you can frame your thinking around the product design from a user-centric perspective. After that, the idea is to share with you the best question to raise when you need to consider the blockchain protocol, but also the blockchain network. And Nicolas in our team will be able to present you this. And to finish, so Alexis Masson will present you basically the toolbox we have been created for you. This toolbox will bring together all the products, open source product, but also not open source products that you will be able to pick up to start maybe, or to follow up with your blockchain product architecture design. So that's going to be the agenda, the storyline of this webinar. For the speakers, I'm happy to present you here, so you can have here the faces of the 3 speakers of today.
I'm very glad to be among you this morning. So as Dunia put it, I'm Benjamin Calméjane, digital designer at ConsenSys since more than 1.5 years now. And indeed currently working on Komgo.io, which is a trade finance service and a European scale project. I will have my presentation in 3 parts. First, the mindset and the general principles of industrial design. Then the framework, the role to play as an interaction designer. And I will finish with a toolbox with some theoretical resources and practice resources. So the mindset. To deep dive in the industrial design, I would like to have a full disclaimer first. In absolute term, design does not tend to be particularly aesthetic. Some industrial designers have already theorized about it, such as Raymond Loewy and Victor Papanek, that I remind on the way to prepare this talk. These 2 references help me to design digital services while being aware of the impact they can have on the society. So here it's the French version as I read it, but in English we can translate it as ugliness sells poorly. But what's important here is to consider the design as something to be used more than something particularly aesthetic. And for that, the designer is always between 2 imperatives. On one side, there is the technical constraint, and on the other side, the social expectation. And what Raymond Loewy, that I showed just before, mentioned is that when a technology is very new, it's better to design something that look and feel quite familiar in opposition to a technology which is where people are used to use. here the design can be a bit surprising. But because we are designing on blockchain, which is pretty new, we tend to use some very familiar patterns. So first thing first, the user research is really important. No matter what kind of product you make, it can be a game, it can be an enterprise tool, it can be a wallet or whatever. The idea is to be like a doctor. You need to perceive the symptoms of the product you are building and the symptoms that your user are encountering. And the idea is to make a good diagnostic. So here, the idea is to be very neutral and don't be afraid to show something that maybe it's not ready or the product is never ready, to be honest. So and don't be afraid neither to be disturbing any user. Can be surprising, but it's rewarding for the user to be among the first to test a new product and having this feeling to actively participate to design your product. And this is very important because it will allows you to materialize the reliability that was previously based on trends or on statistics you made, and that make it very real. So here is a little example of how you can perform some user interviews on mobile or on a desktop. You can find some very useful resource for that.